This week was a week of big numbers. Georgia's economy grew by a record 44.8% in April. This is probably the biggest growth index that we have and will see for the foreseeable future. We're looking at preliminary figures, which, yes, they do not generally change drastically, but which also means that at this stage we lack the information to judge how many billions of turnover has been registered in each sector of the economy and which sector is currently driving the leapfrog score in April. On the other hand, if we look at the paid taxes for April 2021, comparing it to April 2020 and 2019 respectively, the only tax that has been decreased in this period is income tax. One reason here is the relief measures which had entailed until today that salaries under 750 lari fully and salaries under 1500 lari were semi-released from the taxes. For the rest taxes, we see a clear trend of growth. Profit tax up by 13.6% compared to 2020 and by 18.3% compared to 2019. Excise tax up by 15.7% compared to 2020 and up by 40% compared to 2019. And VAT up by 74% compared to 2020 and up by 24.2% compared to 2019. Value-added tax is especially important in our context since Geostat calculates the economic growth rate based on the turnover of VAT-paying enterprises. In April, such enterprises registered 8 billion in turnover, which exceeded lockdown numbers in April 2020 by 94%. However, growth is higher than that in 2019 too. This comparison with 2019 is very important because this way we can partly eliminate the base effect, and with its exception we see that the size of the Georgian economy has increased by about 21% compared to April 2019 this year. Due to the lockdown in April 2020, the Georgian economy shrank by 16.6%. As of today, the most optimistic outlook for Georgia's economic growth going forward comes from Galt and Taggart, 7%, then from the government, 6.9%, then according to the last outlook, World Bank, 4%, and then comes according to the last outlooks of IMF and ADB. Both IFIs have the same forecast, that's 3.5% of economic growth in 2021. On Friday, TBC's chief economist Otar Nadaraya said in the morning show of Analytics that TBC Capital will also revise its outlook upwards and that it will exceed its previous forecast of 5.5%, which was the highest even before the record numbers saw the daylight. On the background of these big numbers, we see lari strengthening sufficiently. Judge yourself. During this week, starting from Monday, when we first heard about the record growth figure in April, lari appreciated against the US dollar by 6%, and during the last month, lari has strengthened by 10.5%. NBG's governor, Obak Venetadze, views this appreciation as a short-term trend, while TBC's chief economist, Otar Nadaraya, says he would still bet on stronger lari by the end of the year. Now, what should we keep in mind going forward? First, this growth has its price, and it is quite costly. State debt is over 60% threshold of GDP as set by the law, and inflation is still further away from the target. So we need to sustain the pace of growth to alleviate this burden on Georgia's taxpayers and make the growth more inclusive. And second, the pace of vaccination needs to pick up so that high-spending tourists that value their health and safety are also attracted to Georgia, and so that we, the Georgian citizens, stop being a threat to each other. Hope in this direction comes yet again from our real strategic partner, the United States of America. President Biden announced that the United States will share COVID-19 vaccines with Georgia. This is another indication of the strength of the strategic partnership between our two countries. The specific vaccine and amount for Georgia will be announced as the administration works through the logistical, regulatory, and other parameters. What we know so far is that globally, the United States has pledged to share 80 million doses by the end of June. On to you, Georgi.
Maybe, and if I am lucky enough, I will definitely use the US vaccines as a jab vaccine, because most of our team members, including myself, are already fully vaccinated, and And many thanks again to US government, President Biden's administration for another outstanding support during this unprecedented period. And that is just the beginning of my American OPED for these checkpoints. And as mentioned by Elena, we miss so much news like this, where we deliver information about the US and generally investments in Georgia through global economic countries. On June the 1st, SilkNet Georgia, leading convergent telecommunication company, announced a partnership with SAS, a world leader in advanced analytics. According to the agreement, SAS will provide its customer data analytics solutions to SilkNet. In parallel, both companies partnered to bring SaaS solutions to SilkNet clients, various businesses and organizations. SilkNet will implement SaaS solutions such as campaign management system, taking its customer experience to the next level by delivering even more innovative and smoother services in the form of tailored offers based on customer needs. Apart from this, the SaaS solution will provide one of the best-in-class customer loyalty system, which will help SilkNet to advance its customer-centric services further. As a strategic partner of SAS in Georgia, SilkNet will become the first company to deliver the most advanced and sophisticated data analytical solutions to the Georgian market. The presentation and ceremony of the strategic partnership agreement were welcomed by the US Embassy in Georgia and personally by the Ambassador Kelly Degnan. George Ramishvili is the chairman of SilkNet Supervisory Board, and David Mamulaishvili is the CEO of SilkNet. Welcome SAS to Georgia and to launch their partnership. SilkNet Georgia's leading telecommunications provider, together with SAS, will enable companies and organizations to implement state-of-the-art data-driven processes. For SilkNet, it is another successful step in introducing the latest technologies to Georgia for the benefit of the whole country, says George Ramishvili. The strategic partnership was welcomed by Shukri Dabagi, Regional Vice President, SAS Central Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa. Advanced analytics and SAS know-how combined with SilkNet capabilities and understanding of the market will provide an engine to accelerate digitalization in both the public and private sector. Meaningful data and knowledge are important factors for organizations to gain competitive advantage. That was the highlight in SAS Vice President welcome speech. So this is the true number one story for the checkpoints for this week. And also as representatives of Forbes in Georgia, me and Elena, with our team are following any and all, yes, any and all, any success stories related to transparent and dedicated investors of Georgia and the region. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Rest will be followed shortly by a very interesting interview covered by Elena Kvanchilashvili.
Minister of Economy and Sustainable Development Natia Turnava met with Oleg Nemchinov, Minister of Ukraine's Cabinet of Ministers, and Minister of Culture and Information Policy of Ukraine, Alexander Tkachenko. The meeting focused on the growth of trade relations between two countries, attraction of Ukrainian investments, deepening of cooperation in the fields of tourism, energy, ferry and rail traffic, aviation and land traffic.
According to the first 4 months of 2021, Ukraine is one of the largest trade partners of Georgia. Trade turnover was 218 million during this period, which is 25% more compared to the same period of the last year. The meeting took place within the framework of the official visit of the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal, to Georgia.
U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a senior member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and chair of the Europe and Regional Security Cooperation SFRC subcommittee, joined Senator Rob Portman in Georgia as the final stop of their bipartisan congressional delegation in Eastern Europe. They met with Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili, Foreign Minister David Zalkalyani, members of parliament and members of civil society to discuss how the U.S. can support Georgia in its vision for democracy by implementing the April 19th agreement. They also visited the administrative boundary line of the Russian-occupied Georgian territory of South Ossetia.
I'm grateful for today's productive bipartisan discussions on how Georgia can bolster its democracy with Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili, Foreign Minister David Zalkalyani, members of parliament and members of civil society, said Senator Shaheen. I believe there is deep resolve to uphold the democratic objectives outlined by the April Agreement to build a brighter, more secure future for the people of Georgia. The hard work must continue on a compromise that achieves the strong, vibrant civil society its citizens deserve, and the U.S. stands in solidarity with our regional partners in these efforts. We know the political fate of Georgia has significant consequences for the state of democracy in the region and the world. I am grateful for Senator Portman's partnership in ensuring the U.S. supports Georgia's people, and as chair of the CFRC Europe subcommittee, I'll continue to advocate for reforms to strengthen democratic institutions.
So, I'm back in my place and we start giving you the information you need on business and economics. Georgi, thank you for giving a preface for the interview. Signing of the contract between SAS and SilkNet for the data-driven transformation in Georgia was an important event indeed, and the Checkpoints was there to cover it, of course. So we're at the Radisson Hotel and we will be telling you more in just a second about SAS and SilkNet partnership, American big investment in Georgia coming during these tough times, and my guests will tell you more what this investment entails. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us and taking our questions. Let's talk about the partnership, because Forbes and the Checkpoints like this partnership stories. And so how did SAS and SilkNet end up together in this new endeavor? Please.
We are very delighted and happy to be here in this beautiful city today in Tbilisi, and very proud to announce our partnership with SilkNet, our strategic partner in Georgia. We are the market leader in advanced analytics and artificial intelligence software solutions in the world. SilkNet, as being our partner, the leader in telecommunication service providing, especially in the Georgia. We wanted to bring these two forces together to be able to offer solutions that really transforms the customers and the country and bring more economic development and capabilities in the country.
But what this partnership means, how will it and what will it improve in this digital environment in Georgia?
For us, it's a very important moment when a new era is starting in Georgia, because as SilkNet, we were always looking for new initiatives in order not to just transform our company, but also to help our customers and our society to get most out of their everyday lives and make their lives even easier and more comfortable. And we were in search of a company who would help us to improve our customer service and increase our services, more tailor-made services for our customers. And exactly at this point, SAS came up with a very good strategic initiative to sign a strategic partnership deal with us and to implement its system inside SilkNet, which will enable us to analyze customer needs and customer preferences, and based on this analysis provide them with their tailor-made and individual services and offers. On one hand, this will help us to increase the customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. On the other hand, this will help us to create a better ecosystem for our customers and make them help to use our services for their everyday lives and make them a success story for each of them. Apart from this, of course, the partnership goes beyond this, and we will help Georgian companies as well as government institutions with the advanced data analytic tools to improve their products and their services for their customers as well. So this is a very important stage in the country when we will move to data-driven transformation,
Yes,
and thanks to SAS this will happen.
Yeah, and it kind of seems to me that this will be some kind of a threshold of a new standard for the market in general as well.
We will be able to provide for every single customer of SilkNet tailor-made offers and services based on their needs and based on their preferences. And this is something quite new. This is something that has not been done yet in Georgia. And as you know, SAS is one of the leaders in this field. Data analytics and AI, SAS is like a powerhouse and the #1 company in this field, and we are extremely happy that we had this opportunity to sign the contract with them, and that the SAS system will be installed inside SilkNet will help us to provide a lot of new services to our customers in the country.
Mr. Tayfun, let us continue this line that Batyo has just started. So that's data-driven transformation. What that means in more detail so that our viewers and followers understand.
So actually now data is like oil, very valuable, and companies are using data to get more insights, to be able to predict the future, to be able to make decisions real time. So that's why it's really very strategic. When we say data-driven transformation, it is applicable for companies, private companies, as well as it's applicable for governments. Data-driven transformation have components. What we say, one, of course, the technology itself. You need to have a standardized open architecture technology platform to be able to gather the data, analyze the data, get better insights, do modeling on this data to get predictions for the future, for the business. This is one side, the technology side. The other side of the data-driven transformation is to build the right processes in place so that these processes are seamlessly executed by using data. And the third part is the organizational impact. So to make a sustainable organization that uses data very efficiently, you need to institutionalize this. So you need capabilities to build capacity in the organization, but we are also discussing with SilkNet and also some academic institutions in Georgia how we can bring this capability and how we can build this capability in Georgia, because you will need data scientists, analytic experts, data modeling experts. We're also talking how we can bring this know-how to Georgia with a partnership with a university or academic institutions together with our sponsorship to build this capacity, and also put these people, young people, into the organizations to build capacity for the country, because this is where you make a big difference. These resources will create the competitiveness, competitive differentiation in the country and also organizations.
We heard on the press conference, Batyo, that the main strategy of SilkNet is to become #1 digital company in Georgia. How this partnership with SAS specifically ties into this broader strategy that your company has?
I think this strategic partnership with SAS plays a vital role, and it's of extreme importance that a company like SAS will be supporting supporting us in this field. We are confident that with this company together, the success story is in our hands. We just have to work hard with them together to make this transformation happen. Otherwise, the SAS is providing all the necessary tools and systems for us to make this happen in this country. So we are very confident that this partnership will be a very good success story, not only for SilkNet, but for our country as a whole.
Okay, let's ask SAS then, why did they choose SilkNet for this big success? So very simple question, why SilkNet?
Yeah, so I'm managing Southeast Europe. I'm the general manager for Southeast Europe at SAS, actually from Adriatics to East Europe and the CIS countries. So Georgia is in the crossroads. Georgia is having a very geostrategic position. First, we would like to enter this market really strongly, and we need a strong partner who can provide infrastructure, who can provide connectivity, who can provide content and capabilities, and invest in the vision that we have, as I said before, building capabilities, capacity in the country, who has the same vision for the country. That's why, as a leading organization in Georgia, we decided to partner with SilkNet to be able to really execute those dreams together.
If we look broadly on Georgia's market, what is your assessment of Georgia's market more broadly in this sense?
Yeah, actually, especially in the pandemic times and even post-pandemic times, we can feel that this digitalization is multiplying and
accelerating.
There's a huge acceleration in every industry we speak today. Today, banks, we see a lot of trends. The analytical models that banks build, or the risk models that they have built, or how they approach to the customer, completely changed. There's a reality of online right now. So you go to retail customers, everything is moving to online. The online revenues really increasing tremendously. Logistics changing, every industry is changing. But the only thing that is not changing is the use of data, and data enables new business models. So when we look at Georgia, definitely in the banking industry, in the private sector, and especially in government, we see a lot of opportunities to be able to support the vision in Georgia. And we're very positive. We had many fruitful meetings yesterday and today to really extend our investments. And we will continue our commitment with our partner SilkNet for the Georgian market.
Wonderful to hear that. Batu, I was listening to the press conference, and U.S. ambassador, who was also present, she noted that SilkNet takes advantage of the opportunity that digitalization acceleration brings to the world and brings to the Georgia.
This partnership agreement brings together Georgia and the United States to work in an innovative new sector of digital sector. This is, as you heard, an opportunity that we hope will lead to follow-on initiatives in this sector, data analytics and the varied uses of the information that data analytics allows companies is so important. It can improve the efficiency of utilities. It can help agricultural industries improve their productivity. It can improve companies' efficiencies and abilities to work together. It can make life easier for consumers. There are so many applications of this, and I think we've seen that during the past year with COVID. So we are really thrilled to see an American company and a Georgian company working together in the sector that isn't of the future, it is of the now.
So how will you translate this competitive advantage, definitely, that you have now on the market because of this partnership as well, and how will this benefit both physical clients and corporate clients?
Well, what pandemic made happen in this world is that everything what was planned in the coming years is happening right now, especially moving towards digital world and towards digital life. And what does this mean? That people are more and more getting accustomed to their everyday handsets, devices, and are trying to get these services online. So they prefer to get all type of services online rather than going and get services physically, right? For
Yes.
this, you need to understand what customer wants. This means you need to analyze what customer needs and wants, and then based on this analysis, provide them the relevant services, what they need. And this is exactly where SAS is the #1 player in the world, and that's why this partnership will enable us to adapt to this new reality and to the new world and become, and this will be our advantage. So the companies who are adapting at a faster pace than the other ones, they are becoming the leaders in their field. And we think that together with SAS, we will be the ones in our sector who will be the most advanced in this digital savvy world and this digital savvy life in Georgia.
So what are some of the SilkNet's plans going even further?
Well, in the first phase, we are starting the project together to integrate the systems and solutions, which will take a couple of months. We have a very strong project team on our end. SAS has also a very strong team on their end. So the first couple of months will be needed to install and integrate all these systems in our environment, and then we will start already providing services based on the system that we have. Also, a very important part of the system is the loyalty program that we are implementing for our customers. So I think once the project is done and once the system is commercially launched, SilkNet will provide one of the best-in-class loyalty program for their customers, which the country might not even seen before. So let's see and let's wait, and all of you will see what kind of services will be provided to our customers.
Of course. What's in it for SAS? What are your expectations of this partnership? Why will that benefit SAS as well? Because as I see it, it's a win-win project where SAS will also be benefiting by partnering with SilkNet.
So first of all, as I said, this is a very strong market entry into Georgian market. We had a couple of customers here, but we were not represented strongly in Georgia. With SilkNet's strong market coverage and services that they have, we will be providing joint services to SilkNet customers and also our customers in the country. So we are expecting to improve our investments and operations also in the country. This is how it will benefit us on one side. On the other side, SAS is a company that has academic roots. Our founder established SAS, Dr. Jim Goodnight, more than 45 years ago with the academic project. And so we really, as a company, would like to give back to the country in terms of helping, building capabilities, developing the talent. And this is also important. And we see that with the young generation here and the talent pool that we might have in the country, we would like to raise it and leverage it also in our projects to support our expansion and to make it more sustainable.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you for helping human capital in Georgia as well. Bacho, what are some time frames? When shall we start measuring the results?
I think by beginning of next year, people and our customers and the society will already start actively feeling what the system is capable of and why did we do this project together with SAS. This is one part, and on the other hand, we are actively working together to provide SAS-based systems and data analytic capabilities to companies and governmental organizations. You know that SilkNet has the largest share in providing connectivity to to corporate clients and to government institutions. So this is a very good place where we could, together with SAS, provide to company services, and this has already started since yesterday. So the other companies might start feeling this even earlier than our customers.
Wonderful. So you have heard it. Thank you so much for being with us and taking our questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's the most right time to give a short teaser of Forbes Georgia's June edition to our readers, viewers, and followers. A very diverse content, as usual, was high-quality thought leaders and their analysis, which we are proud of and which, together with our editorial team, drives the competitiveness and weight of this publication on the Georgian market. I wouldn't say a word if not for those numerous comments and assessments that we get from our readers. And let me thank each of you from the Checkpoints Forbes Studio. Enjoy the teaser.
Where do you want the company to go? Who are your customers and who should be involved with you to fulfill these two components? So these are the three main principles in management led by Lasha Tabidze, CEO of VN Georgia or Beeline, and the center of the business interview with Forbes authored by Elena Gwangelashvili. What will be the main signature of the new CEO of the company who for 10 years has understood all the peculiarities of the multinational company and has put well-trained skills into practice? What measures the success of the company and what is the main message to the customers? Lasha Tabidze and his three main principles is the main story of the June issue of Forbes. The rest you will read in the new issue of Forbes Georgia.
Let's start with the rankings. How expensive or cheap is the price of natural gas in Georgia compared to other countries? Which is the most profitable company in Georgia? 150 private companies were named in the ranking calculated by Grant Thornton and Ebbett Group with a total revenue of 27 million lari. Healthcare system reform in Georgia, needs or aims? Read Ketivan Khatarashvili's analysis on the topic. What is the solution and how shall we act so that the country isn't left without a functioning system and the population isn't left without health services? You will find the answers in the new issue of Forbes Georgia. You will also be introduced to a long-term business partner. Zurab Kokosadze recently took over the position of Deputy General Director of the Bank of Georgia in the field of corporate banking. Forbes Georgia invites you to dive into an extensive interview with him. Germany in anticipation of big changes. Who will replace Merkel? Traditionally, Vuka Petriashvili reviews international relations.
So Georgia ranks 10th in the world in terms of unemployment. According to the International Labour Organization, the unemployment rate in the country in 2020 was 18.5%. The number is only higher in South Africa, the West Bank and Gaza, Lesotho, Eswatini, Gabon, Namibia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Armenia and Libya. For this and other in-depth insights, read Forbes, a century-old guide to the business and economics.
Georgi, after featuring the U.S. Ambassador Kelly Degnan commenting on the big American investment in Georgia, I think it is time to move to the ambassadorial.
Why not? Why not? More so that German ambassador to Georgia, Mr. or Herr Hubert Knirsch, sat down with the checkpoints. I hope more German investment will flow into Georgia. That was stated by His Excellency during the meeting of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Parliament a few days ago, where the diplomats' report were heard by lawmakers and members of the Parliament.
Yes, Georgi, and even earlier, the German ambassador was recorded by Forbes Georgia and BMG as part of the ambassadorial. In an interview with our journalist Hamta Gijawadze, Hubert Knirsch spoke in detail about the prospects of economic cooperation between the two countries, the interest of more German investors on the Georgian market, and the seasonal employment program for Georgian citizens in Germany.
So let us listen to Mr. Hubert Knirsch, German ambassador to Georgia, in the ambassadorial from the checkpoints.
Mr. Ambassador, thanks for inviting us here and for your readiness to answer all our questions. Let me start about the latest program that is already started. I mean seasonal working program. So what results do we have, like preliminary results, and how do you see the future of this program?
Well, the first couple hundred Georgian seasonal workers have arrived in Germany already. I'm looking forward for this program to grow and to continue. I'm sure that it will be a successful one. In single cases, we have seen problems which are being addressed and which are being overcome. And I'm sure that overall this program will be a nice contribution to giving people, Georgians who want to work in Germany, this opportunity in a legal and organized way.
Okay, last year a law was passed in Germany which provides the employment of professional workers, professional foreigners. So we know that the number of such employees from Georgia will not be so high, but how do you think, what kind of efforts can we make, and how Georgian professionals can also be involved in this program?
Well, with a professional education that is comparable to the one in Germany, the opportunity will exist to find an employer and to work in Germany. Overall, we know that the system of vocational education in Georgia is very different. So for the time being, this limits the importance and will limit the numbers of people who will be able to profit from it. But over time, I think work in Germany will become a standard part of the relations between our countries.
We know that in Georgia there are hundreds of German companies. So what challenges and what problems they see in Georgia?
In general, these companies are working successfully in Georgia, and they see a good environment, they see good opportunities, also a good growth potential here. What I hear from them, apart from the COVID situation, which has affected the touristic sector very much, what I hear from them is that they would like to grow more and they would like to employ more people. And for this, a broader and better vocational education would be a very important factor. This is really a main concern of German companies in Georgia and German companies that are thinking about coming to Georgia. Apart from that, there are sometimes complaints about bureaucratic procedures or court procedures that take very long. I think this is the daily bread of businesses in many countries of this world.
In 2020, according to official statistics, like 23.7 million US dollars was invested in Georgia from German investors. So how do you see, how can we increase these numbers? So which are those sectors that might be interesting for German investors?
Well, I don't think this figure actually does justice to the importance of German investors in Georgia. You know that very big companies have made important investments here. Heidelberg Cement is one of the major international investments in Georgia. It is a joint venture, so I'm not sure whether it counts as foreign direct investment when they invest more money in their plants. There is a company like Majorel, which is majority owned by a Moroccan company, so perhaps it does not count as German in the statistics, but which has German roots and which is employing hundreds of young Georgians who speak foreign languages, and a company that has really introduced business process outsourcing to the Georgian business world. Or another company, AE Solar, that has started the first production of photovoltaic units in Kutaisi in Georgia. Such companies are opening up completely new sectors of the Georgian economy. You are right, so that the numbers should still grow, and I hope that we can do more to attract more German and more other foreign investment to Georgia.
Okay, so do you know any new German investor or German company that is planning coming to Georgia and investing money here?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, one company I'm in touch with is in the process of setting up a subsidiary in Tbilisi. I cannot talk about it because I'm sure they want to announce that themselves, but a small company in engineering, which shows that the interest for investing in Georgia is there and that the opportunities are very diverse and manifold.
So we know that Germany is Georgia's most important trade partner in European Union. But despite the DCFTA, the number of export from Georgia is not very impressive to Germany. So how do you think, how can we increase this number?
The Georgian economy so far is weak in manufacturing. It is weak in producing products for export. A great strength of Georgia is agriculture and the agricultural potential. We have seen that even during the pandemic, exports to Germany have grown by 40%, and this is mainly due to positive developments in Georgian agriculture. I see that in the future, other sectors such as apparel, the apparel clothing industry has developed quite impressively in Georgia, could play a major role. There is a cluster of furniture industry that looks promising to me. And I think there are many other areas of potential, such as services, maybe in the IT sector, but maybe even more in sectors such as design, where I see great talent and great possibilities in Georgia.
So about 2 years ago, you mentioned in one of the interviews that the promoting business is one of the responsibilities of the embassy. So what is the German embassy is doing now in these regards?
This is definitely one of the tasks of an embassy and something that I like to do very much. I was always happy to host delegations of German businessmen coming to Georgia, and I saw when they came to Georgia, most of them were new to the country. They were here for the first time, and they were quick to see how interesting this country is. They were quick to discover opportunities and wanting to make their contribution. I hope to be able to do this in the future. And in the time while there are less business delegations coming to Georgia, I've started picking up the phone and talking to one or the other, calling one or the other German company and asking them if they ever thought about Georgia as a market or as a location for investment. And some are surprised, but all of them are interested to hear what this country has to offer.
Mm-hmm. So how can we strengthen our bilateral cooperation in terms of economy?
We must continue to work as we do between the embassy, the German Business Association, the German Business Association for the East, for Eastern Europe in Berlin, the Georgian Embassy in Berlin, Enterprise Georgia. There's quite a network of organizations that are working here, and they are working closely together. In recent times, we have had online business fora that continued the contacts. And then we really have to work seriously and over the long term to improve the structure of the Georgian economy, to strengthen manufacturing, and to strengthen all the branches that could be capable of exporting products and competing on the world market through education, through investment, and through continuous entrepreneurial efforts.
And finally, I would like to ask about the priorities of German embassy in Georgia. So what are those priorities that you have, for example, for this year, 2021?
Oh, we work in many very diverse sectors, apart from business and economic affairs. Right now we are involved in a major process of donor coordination that is together with other embassies. but Germany has the lead for the sustainable use of natural resources, so the entire area of environmental cooperation. I'm looking forward to going to some Georgian schools and handing out diplomas for the German language to students that have passed very difficult tests and are now able to go to university in Germany. This I very much look forward to. Also outside of Tbilisi, there are some such schools. These are just some examples, and very recently I was honored to be invited to welcome the Georgian soldiers who returned from Afghanistan after having worked and fought together with our soldiers in Masar-e-Sharif over many years. I was very honored to be there and to express the gratitude of Germany for their extraordinary effort.
Thank you so much.
Germany and EU are almost synonyms. So let us look at the niche products today, Georgi, that could gain momentum on the European market as well with the right vision in place. My focus will be on mulberries. At this point, there is practically no commercial production of these fruits. And even though mulberries in Georgia can be picked straight from the streets along the sidewalks, prices on the wholesale market are higher than the average price for strawberries. Tatia Kakiashvili continues.
Mulberry production and sales in Georgia are chaotic. There are no large lots on the market. The supply is fragmented and retailers gather minimal quantities from different farmers. The main sales channels are wholesale markets, fruit and vegetable stores. As of the last week, the price for mulberries on wholesale market was 6-7 gal per kilogram, while the average retail price for fruit was 10 gal per kilogram. Bachuki Ruadze is one of the few mulberry producers. There are only a few mulberry trees on his farm which have given their first harvest this year. At the beginning of the season, he managed to sell large mulberries for 15 gal per kilo. The farmer is satisfied with the profit he received and considers mulberry cultivation promising, but not the main direction. His farm is focused on growing a variety of fruits and he does not plan to grow mulberries in large areas.
Last year, a different variety of mulberry was given to me from Ajara, which in addition to May also bears fruit in August. I also multiplied this mulberry in Kakheti and got a very good result even in the first year. Then I took it to the market and I sold it for 15 gal. Georgian lari per kilogram. Local resellers then took it and handed it over for 23 per kilogram. As it turned out, this species of mulberry is renovated, which means long flowering, which turned out to be so fertile. Probably it will be called Bachuki mulberry.
In addition to fresh sales, mulberries in Georgia are also used in the production of ice cream. Luca Polare, a Georgian ice cream company, offers locally mulberry ice cream among 17 different types of ice cream. According to the company's marketing manager, Anna Tsiskishvili, the production of mulberry ice cream is seasonal and is possible only when fresh mulberry is available on the market.
Luca Polari's ice creams are made of completely natural fruits. One of our seasonal ice creams is mulberry. After we introduced mulberry ice cream at Luca Polare when it was first opened, I can tell you it has had its customers since. From spring, customers keep writing to us, making sure that we will really make mulberry ice cream. We use fresh mulberries for the ice cream. We have no experience in using frozen products, and there is no need at this stage, because the mulberry purchased in the local market fully meets consumer demand.
Unlike ice cream production, Georgian fruit processors enterprises have not yet purchased mulberries due to small volumes. Also, mulberries are not currently included in the assortment of Georgian dried fruit producers. While Central Asia leads in the production and processes of mulberries, mulberries and mulberry leaves can be used as animal feed and for silk production. Georgia has traditionally been breeding silkworms that feed on mulberry leaves. For the silk production industry, mulberry trees were planted in large areas, but today only a few people are engaged in silk production in Georgia.
Well, my focus, Elena, will be on a better adapted fruit than on the European market, and that's Georgian kiwi. Yeah, Georgian kiwi. A very nice video that I have to offer to our viewers and followers in the checkpoints, and I fully agree with you in your earlier statement that vision is needed, not let go of momentum.
Well, Georgi, I think this is all for today. We do hope it was interesting. Everything that you saw here and much, much more you can find in our social media channels and mainly on BMG and Forbes.g. So please follow us and give your feedback.
We will meet next Sunday, 10 p.m. in the checkpoints again, so take care and stay safe.